What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASAS Pixel Studio. So in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make this. Okay, so it's just like a frame. So let's get started. The first thing, I'm going to get rid of this one. Let's delete this background. Alright, so now you're going to create a solid color layer from scratch. Just choose the white color and hit OK. Pick up your rectangular tool, the round rectangular tool, and I'm going to do it. Just draw a text box like this, straight, and hit, leave it, turn off the stroke, and select the color picker and pick any color. Let's pick the blue color. So I'm going to pick the blue color and hit OK. So it's going to be like this. I'm going to close it and hit Ctrl J to duplicate, Ctrl J to duplicate it, pick the move tool, and I'm going to hold down shift and move it, and make sure I leave a space in between. Then I'm going to drag it out holding down Alt. So drag out, hold down Alt to something bigger like this, and I'm going to group the two together. And after you group the two together, I'm going to create one last. Let's go ahead and create another big one. So I'm going to create a big box like this. Let's leave it like this, and I'm going to leave it. And the same thing, let's pick a color and make sure the stroke is none. Okay, so now I'm going to close it and duplicate this group. Ctrl J, hold down shift and drag it to this other side, and make sure we have the same separation, length of separation. We can always adjust it later on. Now go to edit and go to transform and flip horizontal, and it's going to be like this. Okay, so now after that, we need to find a way to make this the middle one look like eye. Okay, so I'm going to close this group and select the group and move it a little bit far, holding down shift from it. Good, so like that. And now I can bring this to the middle. Okay, so let's just leave at this length. First of all, let's leave it at this length. We're going to adjust it later on. Alright, so I've adjusted the distance in between all the box, so just make sure they are equal distance in between. And now I'm going to duplicate these ones in the middle. So I'm going to hit Ctrl J and drag it out of the group, and for this one select it, hit Ctrl J and drag it out of the group. So now I'm going to close the two group, and then I'm going to turn it off. So we're left with this one. Now let's change the color. Pick the box, the tool you use in drawing, the shape tool, and then change the color of the first one. Let's change it to black, and then select the second one. Also pick this and change the color to black, and now I'm going to drag it in. So let's drag it in, hold down shift and drag it in like this. I'm going to drag it above the two, drag this other one above. So we have the first one, and I'm going to hold down shift and drag this also to have the same distance. So now it's on the same distance, you can see. Now I'm going to select the two using the shape object selection tool. I'm going to select this first black one, and I'm going to select the second black one, which is this one. Okay, hold down shift, sorry, Y. Okay, so after selecting the two objects, how I selected it, I turned this off, and then I drag and selected the two. So I'm turning it on. I'm going to mask this one. Let's mask it out, and once we mask it out, we're going to invert, Ctrl I to invert the mask, and now we can delete these two layers, delete and delete this. Now we can turn back all our layer back, and I'm going to grab the hand tool, and I'm going to move this and make it smaller. Select this two and make, not this two, open up this one, not this one, this one, and make it smaller, holding down Alt. So make it smaller like this. Okay, so now hit that button, and I'm going to shift it in, holding down shift, and then select this as well and shift it in, holding down shift. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like this. I'm also going to select this, holding down shift and drag it in to have this. I'm going to select this and drag it in till we have this. Alright, so now I'm going to create a stem visible layer, turn this off, and for this I'm going to create a stem visible layer. So close the layers, every other thing, and group them, holding down shift, group them together and create a stem visible layer, holding down Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Now I can get rid of this one, and now I can move this. Let's move it to the middle. So now it's at the center. Now I'm going to drag in the picture I want to use. So here we have with the image. I'm going to make it smaller like that and decrease the opacity to that, and let's turn it off. Select this layer and make it bigger, holding down Alt. I'm going to drag it and make it bigger like this, and hit the OK button, turn this on, and then select it and make it balance, holding down Alt and make it, you know, bigger. And I'm going to drag it down and leave it as somewhere like this. This should be fine. So I can bring it back in just a little bit, and I can drag it, just position it to where you know seems best. So I want to focus more like this. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Okay, so this should be fine. I'm going to hit this button, and now I'm going to turn it off for the moment. Alright, so now I'm going to double click to bring up the blending option, and on the blending option, go to the bevel and emboss, go to the contour and click on it. Let's cancel it and turn on this layer so we know what we're doing. Now look at the effect. Double click to open up the blending option for the blue one, and then turn on the contour. Select the contour, and you're going to see the range 50. Select the bevel and emboss and take these settings. This style should be outer, the technique should be smooth. We have this one 521, which is choose the direction up. The size should be 10 or 9. The softening should be 14, and also your angle depends on your light. Now, how do you get the angle? It depends on the light of the image you are using. Okay, so highlight mode, screen, and also you can use the opacity 50% and just leave the rest, and go back to the drop shadow and click on drop shadow, and then you can set these settings on drop shadow: opacity 20, distance 13, spread 44, size 9, and just leave it like this, and it's okay. Now for the direction of the light, it's going to be like this after the effect. So I can turn off the effect and turn it on, so we have it like this. Now the direction of the light depends on this one. I'm going to make it bigger, so you can see that the light is coming from this direction, and that is why inside our bevel, our layer option or blending option, I made the angle 137, which is this angle, because of the direction of the light. Now I'm going to turn this off and come back to this. So under this one, I'm going to select the gradient tool, create a new layer, select the gradient map tool, and you're going to see this when you double click it. But for now, cancel it, then click on this. Now I usually like duplicating this one. Let's duplicate it and hide this one for the moment, and then we're going to use this one to set our gradient. I'll make it smaller and drag it to the middle. Okay, so now select the layer 2 and then go to the gradient and go to the basic one, which is this one, and change the color. So for this one, I'm going to double click to open it up and choose the darkest color here, and then take it downwards a little. It's okay. And then for this, I'm going to double click to open up and then select the brightest color, which is this one, and then take it a little bit up, and then it's okay, and it's okay. So now we're going to drag and drop, so like this, drag and drop, which is our gradient tool, and it's going to be like this. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to start from here and then leave it like this, and there we go. So since we have it like this, I'm going to grab the curve, clip it to the layer, and then I'm going to drag it down to make it more darker like this. So let's do darker. I'm going to group the two together, and we have that. And for this one, I'm going to delete this one, and then we have our image back, turn it back on, and we're going to clip it to this layer below, holding down Alt and then clipping it to the layer below. And you can see this blue part is it's coming out from the blue part. So unclip it and then decrease the opacity, and let's do it again. Let's balance the image. I'm going to select this two, and then I'm going to increase to have it like this, and just balance the image, and there we go. Okay, so something like this, and hit the OK button and turn the opacity up, and then we can clip it to it, and there we go with our image. Now it's too clear or real, and we need to decrease the opacity a bit to make it more realistic. So something like this. Good. So the opacity 92, and there we have our image. All right, so it looks natural now. So those are the settings. That's how to create it. And now you can use this template. I'm going to group everything, put them in a group, open up the group, drag. Okay, leave this one. I'm going to drag in another image. So I dragged in 3 images, and I'm going to turn it off. Let's start with this one. I'm going to turn this off, and then make this one, decrease the opacity, make it bigger, holding down Alt, and bigger and bigger. So something like this, and I'm going to drag it to the middle, yeah, till it fits in. Okay, so I'm going to drag it down. All right, so now you can clip it, hold it down Alt, you can clip it to the other layer below, and you can increase the opacity to 97, and there we go with another type. And now I'm also going to do for this one, I'm going to turn this on, and increase. So let's decrease the opacity. So you can use any of your image and bring it down, and there we go. I like taking it somewhere like this. Okay, so now you can clip it, hold down or clip it to the layer, and then increase the opacity, and there we go with an image like this, beautiful image. And I'm going to select this one, same thing, black and white, and decrease the opacity, and I'm going to take it up and make it bigger, and then drag it down below, make it bigger, and drag it below. Just leave it like this, should be okay. All right, so I'm going to hit the OK button, and then I'm going to clip it to the layer, holding down Alt to clip it, and we can increase the opacity to somewhere around, yeah, so this. So that's lovely, right? So we have either this or this or all this. You can have this, you can have this. Okay, so I'm going to leave this template for you to download so you can use it in any of your frame.